let's answer a few questions before we wrap this up today. Got to find the tweet. Scrolling. Had it ready, but accidentally closed my phone. Wait, here it is. Just a few questions. Let's see if there's any actual questions instead of just some smart aleck remarks. How difficult will it be for an unvaccinated player to get through the season? That question comes from Tom Marshall, also known as @ARedZoneAlk, one of our most loyal listeners and followers for years now. I don't think it will be inordinately difficult for an unvaccinated player to get through the season, but as I already mentioned, you get tested every single day if you're not vaccinated. If you are vaccinated, you get tested once every 2 weeks. So unvaccinated player, constant risk that today is the day that he's going to be shut down. So it's going to be like last year for an unvaccinated player. And as the Delta variant spreads, and as people have kind of let their guard down generally about the pandemic and don't seem to be inclined to put their guard back up, maybe the risk is greater this year. Maybe people will be looser. Maybe there will be less of a degree of safety that we saw last year. And maybe of the unvaccinated players, there will be a higher percentage who test positive. But the best way to make yourself available in as many games as possible this year, clearly and undoubtedly, is to get vaccinated. But as I said, nothing is going to change the minds of those who are determined at this point to not get the jab. Donegan MJ, who gets the playoff buys and do they make it to the Super Bowl? Remember, there's now only one bye per conference, which means one fewer game that the one seed in each conference has to play. I think in the NFC, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have everything pointing in their favor to be the number one seed. And I understand that a certain amount of complacency can set in for a Super Bowl champion, but not with Tom Brady, who is obsessed now with getting number 8. Now that he has 7, it's on to 8. Once he gets 8, it's on to 9. And when you look at the quality of the rest of the teams in the NFC, I don't know who can challenge them. Hey, the Saints may still be pretty good. After all, the Saints won the division last year. Maybe we're overlooking the Saints. Maybe they'll win the division again and the Buccaneers will have to do it the hard way like they did in 2020. The Rams thought they were going to be pretty good. Now this Cam Akers thing changes that outlook. And even so, they're caught in one of the toughest divisions in all of football, maybe one of the toughest divisions we've ever seen. The 49ers could be really good. The Seahawks could be good. The Packers, if Aaron Rodgers shows up and plays like he did last year, could be really good. I think Washington is going to be better than we think, but I still think the Buccaneers have the best chance to emerge. If I had to pick one now, I'd say the Bucs is the 1 seed. AFC, I got no idea how it's going to go. Something I've pointed out before. Look at that conference. Look at those divisions. The teams that are actual Super Bowl contenders. Wrong conference. Bills, Patriots, Ravens, Browns, Steelers, Titans, Colts, Chargers, Chiefs. And then if Rodgers would get traded to the Broncos, you add them to the list as well. So I have no idea who the number 1 seed is going to be in the AFC, but I think both 1 seeds clearly have an advantage when it comes to getting to the Super Bowl. Last year, we saw the 1 seed in the NFC lose in the NFC Championship game, whereas the 1 seed in the AFC managed to hold serve in both games. But the Chiefs didn't have it easy against the Browns. They had a little easier against the Bills, but they got to the Super Bowl. And look, will we see a Super Bowl rematch? It's easy to say that now because those are the 2 teams that got to the most recent Super Bowl. But this year especially, all the work, all the effort, all the talent, all the assessment, all the study, everything, the sweat, the blood, the tears that go into a season, especially in the AFC, it's going to come down to a lucky break, a lucky bounce, a bad call, or from the perspective of the team that benefits from it, a good call. It's going to be something screwy that I think provides the difference between the team that emerges as the 1 seed and the other teams that get to the playoffs. And I suspect there will be teams that could have made it to the Super Bowl that don't make it to the playoffs in the AFC. Forrest Edgewood, how many teams in the NFC West make the playoffs this year? At least 2, maybe 3. And, Sims and I last year were toying with the idea that all 4 could make it. And now that there are 3 wild cards, it's entirely possible. I don't think it's highly likely, but it could happen. I'd say that at least 2 make it, at least 2. And then injuries become a major factor in all of this. We've seen it already, as I've said multiple times now with Cam Akers. What other injuries are going to happen? That changes everything. The injury angle makes irrelevant months of talk and assessment and predictions. And it seems like most years there is that one injury that just causes you to view a team differently and changes their fate dramatically. And that could happen to one of these NFC West teams. But if everyone stays healthy, I'd say at least 2, possibly 3. HS Micken, what's a successful season for the Patriots this year? I think getting back to the playoffs and winning a game or 2 in the postseason. I don't see any reason to think this team won't be much better than last year. They were 7-9, even with so little talent relative to past seasons. I think they're going to be good, and I think they will make it to the playoffs. And when it's single elimination time, they've got the coaching staff. They've got the experience, at least institutionally, to figure out how to win those games and not get freaked out in the moment like some teams do when they get to the playoffs for the first time. Off topic, PFT PM Posse, how's the grill going? Been grilling anything particularly good this summer? I've been trying to go a little healthier. Chicken instead of sausage. Steak, the leaner cuts. Trying to watch the cholesterol now that the clock is ticking toward the witching hour of 60. Grilled some asparagus last night. Excellent olive oil, salt, and pepper. Good for you. A negative calorie food. So the grill is a magical device because even the foods that you otherwise would not eat, if you put them on the grill, they end up tasting pretty damn good after all. So a lot of chicken this summer and probably some more chicken coming tonight. All right, let's see what else we got here. Last one, Lee Witt. What would be a successful season for the Jaguars? That's a great question. The Jaguars were 1-15 last year. Somehow beat the Colts to start the season and lost 15 in a row. Now you've got new coaching staff, a head coach with no NFL experience, Trevor Lawrence, rookie quarterback, a new GM in Trent Baalke, although he's been a GM before. I don't know. They're in a tough division with the Titans and the Colts. I could see them finishing in 3rd place. I'd say if the Jaguars win at least 6 games, that is a highly successful season. And that lays the foundation for making the leap next year. I know every team wants to come into the year saying we have a chance to make the playoffs. And in theory, every team does. But for teams like the Jaguars and Jets, breaking in rookie quarterbacks, 6-11 should be something that creates real hope for next year. And that's what the Jaguars have to do. I mean, how quickly the Jaguars fell apart after being on the brink of the Super Bowl just a few years ago. They are truly building from scratch. And I think if you're a Jaguars fan, you just are looking for signs that this works, that Urban Meyer belongs in the NFL, that he's not going to burn out quickly like Nick Saban did, that he's going to be far closer to Jimmy Johnson than some of the other former college coaches who came to the NFL under high expectations, whether it's Greg Schiano, Chip Kelly, or someone else. This year is that test case. Is there enough evidence this year to make me think this is going to work? And if there is, maybe it starts working as soon as 2022. We'll keep working around the clock at ProFootballTalk.com for the rest of the day. We'll do this again tomorrow. Thanks as always for some of your time, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.